Good morning, everyone. Hello. How are we today? Tuesday morning, and it's been a big week. It's been a big couple of weeks here for me. So I have moved my office around. So even though it looks exactly the same to you, like I've got this big plain wall behind me, my computer is in a different position. So I'm hoping the light works. If you can't hear me as well, let me know if I need to turn the microphone up. I do plan to now that I've moved my office around and I've moved some stock out of the way, I'm actually planning to put something behind me soon. I'm going to move my desk a little bit more forward, and I'm going to try and pretty it up here behind me and not be so boring with this blank wall. But yeah, I have moved. So if you notice anything with the light or my microphone, please let me know. Thanks everyone for coming today. I wanted to come in here and talk about some eBay myths today that are myths that I don't really believe in, and I don't really believe that they're needed for a successful business. So I really want to talk about those today and see what you guys think. I'd love to hear your opinions as well, and maybe not everyone's got the same opinion as me, but I've been reselling for a few years now, and I seem to break all the rules. So I wanted to kind of share that. But this is a live chat. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Mel. I'm a full-time Australian reseller. I'm a mum, a work-at-home mum. I've got 4 kids. And yeah, I sell on eBay Australia full-time. That's my full-time job, and I love it. So if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you say hello, and thanks for joining us. I just want to quickly say hello to a few people in the chat because that's always nice and friendly. So good morning, Peter Patter and Gay, Ian. Meridy's here. G'day, Meredy. Ian, the other Ian, Beck King, Jonathan, Duncan, I can't say your name, Senjaya. Excuse me for saying that wrong, but welcome. Thank you for finding my channel. Wendy's here, and Pommy's here. Hey, Rod. And Reg is here. Oh, there's a whole heap of you. Murray's in the house. David's here. Kyle. Hello, nice to see you, Kyle. I know you. Are you the Instagram Kyle that follows me? Minikin. Nicole. Hello. Dave's here. David Cronk. Recommerce Dave, you're all here. Hello. Thanks everyone for coming. Let's crack into this. Okay, so 5 eBay myths that I don't believe in. So I've been reselling now for a few years, and one thing that I do with my stores is I stay very consistent. So what I notice is especially at the moment, there's been a lot of people, there's a lot of talk in the reselling community on Instagram and YouTube and stuff that people's sales are right down at the moment. And I kind of just wanted to, I think what I've been noticing when I hear like a lot of people saying their sales are down is that people start to get really panicky when their sales are down, and they start trying to chop and change things within their store, like their policies or the way they go about doing things, and there'll be some of the things that I'm about to list in a minute. But what I notice is people kind of go into this panic mode and they try and change things up in their store. And I think sometimes what happens when people change things up in their store, eBay takes a little bit while like it has to register a new algorithm for your store and get used to the things that you've changed. One thing that I do is I always stay very consistent in my store, and I don't change anything. So if my sales go down a little bit, the only thing that I change is how much I list. So if my sales go down, I just keep listing, try and list a bit more than normal. And I always find that those lulls come back up. So, yes, we all get lulls in our eBay. Nobody's got like a chart that's just totally like a constant flow. We have days that are up, days that are down, days in the middle, and it kind of is a bit of a roller coaster. I guess that's why when I'm looking at my sales, I always try and look at them as a monthly basis rather than a daily basis, because then I kind of find that it evens itself out. So I kind of just wanted to talk about these things that I don't chop and change in my business ever. Like, ever since I've been reselling, these things have stayed consistent in my business, and I've been consistent with sales. And at the moment, my sales are actually the highest they've ever been. My sales are up. My sales are booming, and I'm stoked. So my sales are up the highest that they've ever been. I've managed to get my cost of goods to the lowest it's ever been, and I'm making more profit than I ever have, which is win-win. That's the goal. So what I wanted to talk about these 5 things. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is listing daily. And I think it's a bit of an eBay myth that you have to list every single day to get sales. So I want to just clarify that I do believe that listing daily is good for your store. I'm not gonna say it's not, but I do believe that you don't have to list daily to continue with your stores. You can take a day off or 2 days off or a week off and your sales are still going to be there. I really worry that there's a lot of resellers who have it in their mind that they have to list every single day on eBay to keep their sales rolling. And I've got proof that that is not true. So I'll tell you about that truth in a second. But, I do worry that there's a lot of resellers that will burn out themselves because just having that pressure on yourself to list every single day and feeling like you can't take a day off, and blaming low sales on not listing, that can be detrimental to yourself. Do you know what I mean? To your self-care. And most businesses in real life take a day off. We're allowed to have the weekend off. I really do worry that people get into this mode that you have to list every single day. And I'm not saying that doesn't help your store, because it does. The more you list, I definitely do agree that the more sales you get, and the more consistent your listing is, then the better for your store. So I'm definitely not going to argue with that. However, one of my stores, which was actually my old main store, now that main store, I got a little bit freaked out when so many people started following it. And so I decided to run that store down and focus on some new stores that were a little bit more private, because I do have a little bit of privacy issues. So my old main store, which was it's my clothing. I've got another clothing store, but my main store that was my clothing, shoes, and everything store that I was using, my big store. Once so many people started following it and it freaked me out, I backed off from that store. I haven't listed for over 90 days on that store. I haven't listed almost, I reckon, since April on that store, to be honest. And that store is still sitting at $8,000 in my 90-day total. Now, you might say 8,000 is not much, but that's not my main store anymore. That's a store that I've let absolutely go. I haven't listed on it. I haven't ended and relisted anything. The only things I've done on that store is I have put a sale on it because I want to clear that store and move on from that store. I don't want to focus on that store anymore. That store is like one that I'm not interested in maintaining anymore. So I've got a sale running on the store, and also I ship the items, and that's the only activity I have on that store. Unless somebody sends me a message, I'll obviously reply to the message, but I haven't listed on it for over the whole 90-day total, and it's still sitting on 8,000. So to me, I'm steady. There are a few days that haven't had sales on that store in the last month, but that's, it's crazy to think that I have not listed on that single store for over 90 days, and my 90-day total is still sitting at 8,000. So it just goes to show that, yes, I still have $250 days on that store, which is, and I'm not doing anything with it. That store's just like bonus money now, to me, it just proves you do not have to list to get sales. What it means is you have to have stock if that stock is still moving on my store and I'm not doing anything to keep listing and adding to it, what that says to me is, one, the stock is pretty good, and two, perhaps my titles are pretty good and my photos are pretty good, so the listings are still selling themselves. So I think that's an important thing. If you've got the good titles, if you've got good photos and you've got quality stock, then you should be able to keep maintaining those sales. So if I haven't listed for 90 days in that store and still got $8,000 in sales, you guys can take a weekend off listing in your stores. You're not going to ruin your store if you take a couple of days off or one day off a week or whatever it is. So I really do think that is a big eBay myth, that you have to list daily to get sales. And, I will definitely say that yes, listing consistently increases sales. I do agree with that. Listing consistently, and the more you can list, if you can list daily, then your store is just going to keep rising. My other stores, my main stores, they rise because I keep listing in those. This one is slowly going down, but it's still there. It's still got sales, which is pretty amazing to think that, $8,000 in a store with not listing for a few months, and that stock is stale. I have not, that stock in that store is stale and it's still selling. So, it's selling because it was quality stock to begin with, and, the photos were good and the titles are there. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. So that's my big thing. Couple of pickers. Hello, I haven't seen you for a long time. Welcome. Don't tell Rob that. I've got him convinced that he has to list and work every day to keep us going. I'm not disputing the fact that listing every day increases your store. I can see it on my other store, because basically I took that main store, that was my main store, and I made the conscious decision that I wanted to keep my stock a little bit more private and move to another store that wasn't known kind of in the community. So, I've just let that was my main store. I just let it go, and I've totally built up a couple of other stores to get to the point that now they're very equal and they're like my main stores. So, I can see the growth in that I've had in building those two stores, and I do list consistently in the stores, but I do also take a day off if I need it. And for the last 2 weeks, I've been so busy moving stock into my storage unit. I've actually hired somebody to come and work with me. There's all this new stuff going on with me, which I'll talk about in another video. But the point is, I've been super busy and I haven't been listing for a couple of weeks. So, I'm okay with that. I'm okay to go, I'm really busy for this couple of weeks and I need to keep focusing on other stuff at the moment. And although I know I need to list, I need to get back to that listing, I still don't feel guilty, and I still feel like, okay, yes, my sales might go down a little bit, but they're not going to disappear totally. Seeing that store that I have not touched for absolutely months still bringing me in $8,000 worth of sales, like bonus. As a new seller, would you have to list daily to get traction? I definitely think that when you list consistently, you get traction in your store. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. The more you list, the more I do find that the more you will get sales. Like that store that I haven't touched in months, that store's not increasing in sales. It had a bigger 90-day total than that. It's slowly going down, but the point is it's still making almost daily sales, and some days up to like $250 in sales, and I'm doing nothing with it. So I think the point that I'm trying to make is more like, yes, daily listing and consistent listing, or 5 days a week listing, or whatever it is, will benefit your store. Absolutely. That's how you're going to grow your store. Your numbers will grow in that way. But I just want everyone to not feel bad, like if they want to take the weekend off, or I feel like a lot of resellers, including myself, are working extremely long hours. we work more than a 40-hour week. Some people are working part-time, working full-time jobs somewhere else and doing eBay part-time and working day and night and weekends. And I do worry that people will get burnt out. And, I do worry that people feel like they can't just have a day off listing every now and then. And they feel like, oh, if I don't list, what if I lose all my sales and all my traction? Well, you'll just pull it back up. Like I really do strongly believe that, as resellers, we should be taking a little bit more self-care and taking some time out for ourselves and having a day or two off, having a day or two off, listing every single day. So that's my theory. That's my eBay myth debunked. Watching that other store that I just don't even touch continue to get sales has proven to me that I don't need to list daily to get the sales. Yes, I do need to list consistently to gain momentum. And if you are a brand new seller, I would say, yes, you need to keep listing, but maybe you don't need to list 7 days. You could list 5 days a week, but just try and keep it as consistent. So, like if you Monday to Friday, you might be your listing days and you might only list 5 things or 10 things, try and keep it consistent, but, don't feel like if I don't keep listing, then I'm not going to get any sales, because I don't believe that's true. I believe that you get sales if you've got good product, good items in your store, good photos, and good titles. I think that's the main thing about it. If you have $8,000 listings, I can't see where that is. If you have 8,000 listings, that should get you sales each day. It should. I don't have 8,000 listings. Just for the record, I've only got a couple of thousand. However, in that store that I'm talking about now, PVP, it's probably down to 500 items. I'm not even sure. I need to go in there and get rid of some of the listings that are sold, because I've got it, my stores are all marked as out of stock. So I need to manually go in there and delete listings, but there's probably only about 500 items in that store. It's not a huge store anymore. It did used to be my main store. It's not my main store anymore. I'm not going to bother with that store anymore. I'm basically just running that store down and moving on with other stores. Are you making decent profit on items? I suppose the price might have an impact on sales. I'm still making profit because my business model is to buy low and churn burn. So most items that I buy are around the $2 mark. I'm not buying high-end items. So most of the items because I'm like a bread and butter store, so I kind of build my business on bread and butter items. I'm not really I don't find enough of the higher end items. I would rather go out and buy a chunk of bread and butter items that are so available to me. I can get those, I can get bread and butter items all day, every day, but I can't get higher end items every day. So I guess I would rather than go out and spend hours searching through for the tags for the stuff that's really good, I just focus on picking up the bread and butter items and churning and burning it. So if I buy an item for $2 and sell it, most of the time after I've paid postage, eBay fees, the cost of goods, I would still be at least making a minimum of a $10 profit. So my average sale at the moment is sitting around the $30 mark. So for me to have an item selling around the $30 item mark, by the time I take out the cost of goods, which is normally $2 or less, by the time I take out my 15% eBay and my postage, I'm on a $30 item, I'm still being left with at least $15, $20 profit on that item. So I think, that's kind of my mentality. I could sell a $60 shirt and take out my 15% fees and my postage, but I might have had to have paid $15 for that shirt. So by the time you even it all out, me selling a $60 shirt that I've paid a higher amount for is the same as me selling two $30 items that I've paid $1 or $2 for. So I kind of just source on what's available to me. Like, I prefer the churn and burn. I'd rather sell 2 cheap things than hunt and hunt and hunt for the one higher end item, because that's just what's available to me. So I just work on that method. So I still make decent profit. I think it's pretty, if I'm spending $2 or less on an item and I'm making a $15 profit on that item, then I think that's pretty good. And when I say profit, it's not really full profit, I guess, because it's not taking into account the other business expenses that I have. I mean, when I say $15 there, I'm talking about postage, eBay fees, and cost of goods. As a business, there's many more expenses to running it. So in the end, you know, it all works out a little bit less. But if you're just kind of working it out on an individual basis, you know, that's kind of where I'm looking at it. If I'm sourcing an item, I'm sourcing an item where I'm hoping to make around that $15 mark profit item on it. So anything I buy, you know, $10, $15 profit margin is what I'm looking for as a minimum. If I get more, bonus, but I'd rather churn and burn $15 profit items than be hunting for items that are hard for me to find in my stores. Hi Mel, I've worked as a data analyst for, is that how you say it? Analyst for 20 years. I've worked for Australian Bureau of Statistics and I've looked at a fair bit of data on my eBay stores. And what you were saying now is 100% correct. Yep. Thank you. I've probably, this chat's going quite up high, and if I've missed it, please put the question back in, because it's hard for me to talk and keep on top of the chat. Hey Jada. So that's my myth 1, listing daily. Myth 1. Okay, let's go to myth 2, express post. I have never ever offered express post on my store ever. It's just not an option. If somebody private messages me after they buy a sale, which I've had, maybe I could count on like 2 hands in 3 years how many people have messaged me and asked for an express post. It's just, I just don't get asked the question. So I don't even have it there as an option. If somebody messages me and says, hey, can you express post this item? Of course, no worries. I'm happy to do that. In fact, because I get asked it so very rarely, I would probably just cover that express post and not even charge them any extra for it, and just make it as nice customer service, because I don't get asked it. So, you know, it's most of the time that would be fine with me. But I don't believe that you need express post as an option on your listings to make your store appear better. I feel like there's a lot of things that people go, eBay wants us to do all these things that are favorable to the buyer. You know, they want us to have free shipping. They want us to have express posts. They want us to do the same day shipping. I don't do any of it. It's like I break all the eBay rules. I don't abide to what eBay wants, I guess. I do what works for me as a business. So the reason why I don't add express posts onto everything is simply because I don't want to have to keep express, you know, I know I'm doing the My Post now with the Australia Post. I wasn't doing that before. I am using My Post now, so I can just print a label for express post. It's no issue. But once upon a time, I would have had to have had express satchels sitting at home, or having to go in and buy them as I go. And there'll be a lot of new resellers or part-time resellers that don't actually use the MyPost system. They're simply printing, you know, from eBay or paying for their postage as they go. And it's actually a bit of a pain in the butt if I have to go in and buy express satchels or prepay for express satchels, or, you know, wrap up an item and then take it to the post office and then buy the satchel there and pack it. It's kind of another step. I like to have it all processed here. So I don't know, like for me, not having express post as an option on my store has definitely not hindered my store. And, you know, like I said, my sales are higher than they've ever been. And I don't have express post as an option. So, you know, I don't think that's something that you need. I think, yep, fine. If somebody messages you, of course, customer service, of course, I'll send that express post. But, you know, for me to have it there as an option, it's just another step in the listing process. And, you know, it's just another thing for me to look at. Oh, okay, this customer wants express post, and no, I can't be bothered with it. I like to keep things very simple, very quick and very fast. And I don't think it hinders my store. So it's just something that I'm not going to bother about. Totally agree. And at the moment, express post has no delivery guarantee. So why bother? Absolutely. Basically, the post office at the moment with COVID is saying we can't guarantee it's going to be express anyway. So it's almost like a waste of money for the buyer. And, you know, it's just another thing. I just feel like I just like to keep things simple. You know, everything about my listings is quite simple. Everything I do is a simple process. And it's just having one shipping option works for me. And, you know, it by far, I definitely, after 3 years or whatever it is of reselling, I definitely have never offered express post, and it's never hindered my business or stopped me from growing. The other thing is to ship daily. Okay, I have never offered ship daily as part of my policy. You know, I ship every 2 days. So this is one of the reasons I won't join the eBay Plus program, because I won't abide to their shipping daily. It doesn't always work for me as a mum to ship daily. It's time consuming to ship daily. And, you know, there's so many things in this business that I have to be doing, and to go to the post office every day when I don't need to seems like a waste of my time. So I post Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. I have 2 day shipping in my listings. Nobody has ever questioned it. It hasn't seemed to have affected my sales. I still pump out the sales. And, you know, like I said, if somebody did message me and say, hey, can you get this order out faster? Of course, I'm happy to do that, because I like to offer good customer service. But, you know, I can't, nobody asks me, can you send this faster? Can you send this quicker? Can you send this express? Can you send this tomorrow? I just don't get those kind of messages. And, you know, I just don't think it hinders people. I don't think it stops people from buying from you if you don't offer same day postage. I think if somebody sees something in your store and they really want it urgently, they will just message you and say, hey, can you get this to me quicker? And then you either say yay or nay, or you either say, yes, I can post it tomorrow or today, or my next postage day is Wednesday. And then they decide. But, you know, I definitely don't think that posting every single day is required. And I definitely think that it's actually a waste of time. I think it's not a productive way to spend your time as a reseller shipping every single day. If you were a massive reseller that had 100 items going out every single day, then maybe you'd have to, just to be able to keep up, because doing maybe 200 in one day would be too big for you, you know. So that, I think that would maybe be a little bit different, or if you had paid workers that were coming in and doing your shipping for you. But as somebody who's working solo in a business, and you've got to split your time up between listing, photographing, doing your taxes, doing your sourcing, doing your shipping, doing your inventory control, putting things away, like things that you're bringing into the home and then having to put onto your shelves. I definitely, there's just not enough time. Like we are wearing so many hats, and, you know, we have to make our time productive, and we have to batch our time to make it productive. So for me, batching my shipping 3 days a week works perfectly for me. And I think it would be an absolute waste of my time if I tried to ship daily, because it wouldn't be that many orders. Like if you're doing it every day, what is it? 15 orders. I'd rather just wait 2 days and, you know, have double the amount. It gets you into a flow as well. The more you have of something, if I have more orders to ship, then I'm going to be more productive, because I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pick them, pack them, post them. It's just I'd rather use my time on those couple of other days a week. The other thing that I think is a total waste of time is people who post on a Saturday morning, because in Australia, and I don't know how this works in America or anywhere, or UK or wherever you're from, but in Australia, our post offices are open Saturday morning up to about lunchtime, or some of the post office. And buyers don't expect you to post on the weekend. Like most people in their listing will say, I will post on business days. Like, I think the post office is basically open on a Saturday for people who work full time in other jobs and want to post things to their family and friends and different things like this. But I kind of just feel like there's no need to post on a Saturday. Like a buyer doesn't expect that. So save your time as a reseller, be more productive with your time, and use your time more wisely. I don't agree. I don't agree with the whole shipping daily. And I honestly believe that eBay wants us to do this, and I don't know what benefit it is for them, because I don't see my sales as any less than a lot of other resellers who are on a similar level to me, who are just kind of working solo, doing more than me because they offer daily postage. So as a reseller, my tip is be more productive with your time. And, I think that's an absolute eBay myth that you have to post daily. Posting every second day is perfectly fine. And, like I said, I rarely even get anybody ask for express post or, to post differently. Oh my goodness, Mr. Buys a Lot. For a beer or a glass of wine to help you relax, Mel, you're awesome. Thank you so much. I think you're pretty awesome as well, Mr. Buys a Lot, and I think your stock level is insane. If you don't follow Mr. Buys a Lot, go down and follow him. He is what his name is. He buys a lot. He has a huge warehouse of stock that would just be absolutely insane to see, but thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. Hey, Cajun. Now, where are we? I've kind of lost track. Oh my gosh. There you go. Our post office is open on a Saturday, but it doesn't dispatch to the mail centre till Monday. Yeah, so there's no different. Why bother even dropping it on the Saturday? Like, it's just a waste of your time. You could be out garage sailing or sourcing or spending the time with your family and your kids. Like, I think we get caught up in I'm going to look better as a seller and get better feedback if I post daily, because I'm going to look like I'm super fast and like I'm doing all this for my customer. But I think as long as you have it written down in your description, I have it in my description as item will be posted within 2 days of payment clearing via Australia Post. So it's quite clearly there in my description. If somebody wants to order something and wants it faster, then, I'm pretty sure they'll message me. But, I really don't get any messages for it. So I kind of feel like it's not really an issue. Most people are happy to wait a couple of days for their items to be shipped. And, posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I think it's 3 pretty good days of the week. Monday's always big after the weekend. Friday gets it out before the weekend, and a midweek post, it's plenty. Even we don't post on the weekend. We post daily Monday to Friday, but the mail sends a truck here and we have our shipping set at 5 days. And Mr. Buys a Lot, you are way bigger scale than what most of us little resellers are, and I don't know, but I'm presuming you probably have people to help you ship, because you've got so much stock that I would suspect that you would need to post as a daily thing, because otherwise it would just be too much. But for most of us little resellers who are, posting 5, 10, 15, 20 items a day, we can post every couple of days. It's not going to affect our business. Yeah. My stock level is crazy, and I'm always running out of storage. I'm the same. I've just got another storage. Last week I hired a storage unit. After a day of building shelves in it, I cancelled that storage unit and went to a bigger storage unit. And now it's been a week and I've just gone and hired another storage unit. I'll talk about that in another video. Won't eBay boost your listing if you offer a day shipping? Drew, I don't truly believe that it does. Like, you've seen my stores before. You see how many orders I send as a little store. I don't think if I changed to 1-day shipping, I would get any more orders than I possibly do. Like, I'm already sitting around the right percentage of sales for the amount of stock that I've got listed. And I don't believe that eBay will boost me any more than if I offer 1-day shipping. That just becomes more work on my behalf, and it's just another task that I have to get done every single day when I'm trying to split my days at the moment between when am I going to do my posting, when am I going to do my photos, what time of the day do I have to list, what day this week am I going to do my taxes? There's so many different things. So for me to have to go, and by the time you post every single day, think about how long. I mean, you're at least spending probably an hour by the time you sort yourself up, get things picked, packed, drive to the post office. Even if you've only got a handful of items, you're probably going to lose an hour of your day just doing that. And that hour could be spent on listing and getting some extra listings up, or doing sourcing. Like, I feel like there's much more productive things to do than listing on a daily shipping on a daily basis. And yeah, I don't know. Look at my sales are the highest they've ever been at the moment, and I'm absolutely cranking out orders. And I don't do all these things. It's like I break all the eBay rules, but I think the thing is I stay consistent and I don't change it. I don't sit here and go, oh, my sales are slow, I'm going to change to 1-day postage, and then sales go maybe up and I go, oh, good, I'm going to drop back down to 2-day postage. So I don't alter things in my store ever. My policies remain the same all the time. There's no express post. There's always only 2-day postage. And the next thing on my list is another thing that I never change, is I don't offer any returns. So obviously I know that we have to accept returns if we need to, and that's fine. I'm happy to accept a return. However, I don't actually have the little accepted returns button on my eBay listing. It says no returns. So obviously I know if somebody wants to return an item, then yes, I have to accept the item by consumer law. And also it's just good customer service, isn't it, to accept a return. But I feel like if I have no returns ticked on my listing, then it's going to deter people from buying things and thinking, oh, well, she offers returns, so if it doesn't fit me or whatever, I'll just send it back. So that's kind of my theory with the whole no returns. It's not that I won't accept returns. I certainly will, and I'll do that with pleasure. But on my listings, it says no returns, and I never change that. And it's always no returns. It's no express post, shipping every 2 days, no returns. So I don't know, and do you know what? I would be lucky to even get 1 return a month. I just don't get returns. And that's a combination of things. So one, it's a combination that I have quality photos, I think. My photos show everything. My description shows things. If there's a flaw in the item, I show the flaw. I put the measurements in there. I do everything that I can in a listing to avoid an item not as described case. Most of the items that do want to get returned to me, if any, are because they don't fit. And that's fine, send it back if it doesn't fit. I understand that not everything fits the same, in every brand. And that's fine. I'm happy with that. Or maybe they just didn't like it, so they say it didn't fit. Whatever the reason is, I'm okay with it. But, I just think by putting no returns onto my listing, it kind of acts as a deterrent, and then maybe if they don't like it, they say, oh, well, she offers no returns. Oh, well, I've lost that one. And they don't. But I generally think if somebody wants to return something, they let you know. But, I would be lucky to have anything returned. I can't remember the last time somebody sent me back a piece of clothing that needed to be returned. I just don't hardly get any item return cases against me. So I think that is a combination. Like I said, my listings are good, my photos are good, and I describe those things. I show my measurements. I try to make it very descriptive in those, in my photos and comments, so that I don't get those cases against me. But, I do not put on my listing that I will give free returns. I know eBay would like that, but I don't think it hinders I don't think it's hindering my sales. I think if somebody was worried about it, they might message you before it and say, hey, I really want to buy this t-shirt, but I'm a bit worried about the sizing. If it doesn't fit me, can I send it back? And you go, sure, no worries. I don't know. It's just another one of those eBay myths. Like, so here we are, I'm up to 4 of them. You have to list daily. You don't. You have to send express post. Never have. You have to ship daily. No, never offered it. I always offered 2 days. And you have to offer free returns. I've never offered free returns. I'm obviously a rule breaker. And the other myth that I think is totally wrong is that you have to offer free shipping. I don't offer free shipping. I have to say I do offer free shipping on my books and my DVDs. And the reason I offer free shipping on my books and my DVDs is it seems to be more of the culture for those couple of items. When you order off Book Depository or other kind of book sites, they mainly do offer free postage. So I think people, when they're purchasing things like books, they kind of compare it to the online stores. Angus and Robertson, Book Depository, they all offer free postage. And you'll notice that on eBay, book listings, CD listings, DVD listings, most of them all are free postage. And I think it's a lot of that is psychological, but I also believe that because that's what the majority do, it's kind of expected in those genres to offer free postage. But never have I offered free postage on my clothes or my shoes or my accessories, hats, belts, anything like that. I've always got it there as paid postage, and that works for me. The other good thing about that is if I run a sale, say 30% off or 20% off, whatever you want to run your sale, if all my clothes have got postage built into them, so say I charge something $40 free post, and then I run a sale for 20% off. So that 20% off is coming off that $40 free post, right? So it's coming off the $40. Whereas if my item was $30 plus post, because basically that's the same thing. If you're charging $40 free postage, it's basically equivalent to, say, $30 with $9 post. But if I decide to run a sale on my store, then the 20% only comes off the $30, not the postage. So for me, I don't run sales on books, DVDs, or CDs because there's minimal markup in them anyway. But if I'm running clothes and shoes and items that go stale and that need to be cleared in and out, then I want to make sure that if I need to run a sale, I'm not also giving a sale discount off basically the postage as well. So that's my theory. I don't think I don't think I lose business by charging, postage on my clothing items or my shoes or accessories or anything like that. So whether or not it helps with books and CDs, like realistically, if I was to charge $25 on a book, which includes the free postage, or should I charge $18 for the book and $9 postage? It all works out the same money. It's just a psychological thing. And I think sometimes when you're sending a little book that's only kind of little, people think, gosh, $9, that's like expensive for posts. For some reason, they seem to think you can stick it in an envelope and get it cheaper, which you can't. So I think same as like a DVD, they don't understand. So I kind of just feel like those items are more targeted at free shipping. But clothes and shoes, no, I truly believe that you should charge for postage on those items. And, quite often, I've never had anyone say to me, can you reduce the postage, or can you give me free postage, or whatever. I don't offer the free postage on any of my clothing kind of items. Hey, Ken. Hey, Rory. So, yeah, those are my 5 myths that I just think are rubbish, and I don't think they affect your sales and your business. And I think that what does affect your sales and your business is not being consistent. And I think consistency is the biggest key to running a successful business. And the more consistent you are in everything that you do in your business, the more your business will grow and will thrive. And I just try and stick to the same policies all the time. I don't chop and change my store when sales go down. I don't panic. I don't sit there and go, oh my gosh, the sales are down this week. I better offer 1-day postage, or I better offer some express postage, or maybe I'll chuck free shipping on. I don't change any of that to try and change my sales pattern. I just stay consistent with my business policies. Because you think about it, if you went to one of the bigger stores like David Jones or Myers or Walmart or whatever it is, they're not changing their policies, are they? Their policies always remain the same in their business. So, yeah, their pricing might change. They might run a sale on an item or a clearance item or something like that, but they're not changing their policies on their return policy and their this policy and their that policy. They don't alter their shipping on their websites. They don't change anything. It all just stays the same. And I think that helps the algorithm, because if you keep changing policies and stuff in your business, by the time the algorithm gets to it, then you might have changed it again and it's got to reset in. So I just think consistency is the biggest key to business. And set your policies and do it what works for you. What works for me is only shipping every 2 days. Like, it's just not time productive for me as a solo business owner to be shipping daily. So that's my policy. And yes, customer service, if somebody asks, which is out of the norm and really never happens, then of course I'm going to help out, but because I'm a nice person. But I just honestly believe that if I was to chop and change those things, it would make my store look choppy and changey. And then eBay might not even like that. They might go, what's this girl doing? She's like scatterbrain. Her store is up and down and up and down. She's changing this, she's changing that. I don't know. I would more focus on, if your store is not doing as well, rather than changing your business policies to see if that gives your store a boost, more look at what you're selling and your photos and your titles and see if they can be changed, because, they are what's going to bring your sales. A good title is what people are searching for. You need the good title to bring in your money. Your good photo is what people see as soon as they've done their search, so you want your photo to stand out and be nice and clear. So those are the things that you should be changing in your business before you start chopping and changing like policies and stuff. And yeah, just do what works for your business. Don't feel like you have to follow the rules or feel like, oh, eBay's plugging me. Like, I don't know about you guys. I keep getting messages saying, join the eBay Plus, join the eBay Plus. I'm not interested in joining eBay Plus because I don't want to post every single day. It's just not something that I want to do. So for me, eBay Plus is out because I only want to post every 2 days. So I'm not even concerned about it. Like, I don't think that that's going to give anybody a benefit over me because they post daily and I post every second day. Maybe if I was selling brand new RA items where, you're competing with somebody else for that exact item. But when you're selling secondhand items from a charity store, like, most of the time you're selling something that's totally different anyway, and they're prepared to wait a couple of days. What do people search most on the algorithm? I'm not 100% sure. Can you just explain that to me a little bit more, David? What do people, unless I've missed something going up, what do people most search on the algorithm? I mean, the algorithm picks you up on whatever, like a good title that is optimized for SEO will most likely get picked up in the algorithm, and it might get picked up by the Google search and stuff. So this is why it's really important to have a good title, because your title is your SEO, and algorithm works a lot of the time off SEO. I thought I was the only one doing everything eBay doesn't want me to. Nope, I'm here alongside you, Susie. I think people get really, really, really caught up in thinking that they have to do all these things that eBay want you, and I think it becomes stressful for new sellers. Like, why aren't my items listing? Is it because I need to offer free postage, or do I need to ship every single day? What am I doing? And they try and change all these things up. And I think the constant changing things in your store is in your policies is not good. Set your policies and then stick with it. And, if your sales aren't good, I think it basically comes down to, stock and title, photos and titles. And, that's my main thing. And definitely consistent listing. I'm not saying don't list every single day. Like before, when I said listing daily, I don't believe you have to list every single day. My other store has totally blown that theory out of the park. But, I'm not going to disagree that listing consistently brings traffic and activity to your store, and it's a good thing. So, definitely list regularly and consistently, but don't feel like you can't take that day off. Mr. Buys a lot. Title and pictures are the absolute key. I totally agree. I mean, it's the first thing if we want something. If I want this T-shirt, right, Feed the Beast, I'm going to type in Feed the Beast T-shirt into eBay and see what comes up. And then the next thing I'm going to do once those titles are there is I'm looking at those photos, and it's the photo that jumps out at me, which I'm going to click on. I've already, but you've got to get your title right so that it comes up in people's search. So that's why the title and the photos are so important, because they're the two things that are looked at. I believe your conversion rate is a big driver. It shows you have the right stock and the price, so eBay gives you a boost. I think so. And, don't get greedy. Don't get greedy. Like nobody wants their stock to sit around for months and months. Churn it and burn it. I say, we're not here to store it. We're here to sell it. So, move that stock along. So let me just see if I've missed any things. But yeah, those were my five. Those were my 5 things. I don't offer express post. I don't list daily. I do list consistently, but I don't list daily. I don't ship daily. I don't offer any returns, and I don't offer free shipping on any of my clothes or shoes or accessories or ornaments or anything like that. I only offer free shipping on books and CDs and DVDs. That's it. The biggest key is having good items to start with. Absolutely. If you've got like a quality item, a decent brand, your photo's good, like that item should sell, in theory. Some things take longer to sell than other. But it's definitely having good items is key, and that comes with practice. If we're new to reselling and we start out, like that's all a learning journey. There's stuff that you buy along the way that you take a punt on, or that you thought was good. Like sometimes you see something and you go, oh my gosh, Tommy Hilfiger, that's a cool brand, like Tommy Hilfiger. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to make good profit on that item. And then it sits there and it doesn't sell. So just because it's Tommy Hilfiger doesn't actually mean it's going to sell or that it's a good item. It could be a crummy Tommy Hilfiger item. Good brands have items that don't sell well as well. So even if it's a good brand, and if you're looking at clothing, even if it's a good brand, you still have to make sure it's something that people are wanting. Is it a good pattern? Is it a good color? Is it a good style? What's the fit of it? Is it in fashion, or is it like a dated fashion? Just because some things are older, it doesn't mean they're cool. Like, let's take an example with jeans. So, there's kind of like, with jeans legs, you get a cut that becomes very fashionable. So personally, I prefer to wear a skinny jean, you know, like a tight skinny jean. So I would not look at buying like a bootleg or a you know, a slim fit jean, because those legs are too wide for me. They make you look bigger. A skinny jean will make you look slimmer. The only exception might be is if I want to buy a vintage pair that's more flared, or a vintage pair that's got, you know, the mum jeans, the high waist or something. You have to be careful that you're not just buying jeans that might be a good brand, but they're a dated style. So, you know, you have to really, you're very true there, Greg. The biggest key is having good items, and just because it's a good brand doesn't mean it's a good item. So you have to still do your research, and you know, it does take practice. It does take practice as a seller, you know, like to get used to things that are stylish and good brands, and you know what's going to sell for you and what doesn't sell. It is a learning journey, and it does take practice. Skinny jeans on dad boots. Yeah, no good. Doesn't hurt those skinny jeans. I just, you know, skinny jeans, I like them. I'm a bit of a jeans snob. I can pick listings out on if I'm looking at eBay and looking at jeans, I can see jeans listings that I would just, nope, they're not going to sell. Wrong style, not the, yeah, you know, no. If you don't list daily, what's your listing pattern? So I try and list consistently. I more have a target for the week. So, you know, my main target on my stores is like 150 listings a week, and I try and aim for that. But some days it's not like I just do like 20 every single day of the week to get my 150. Some days I might do 50. Some days I might do 10. You know, some days like I try and stay consistent with listing during the week, like consistent listing. But if I want to take the day off, or if I want to take the week off, like the last 2 weeks, I've barely listed because I've been busy moving into a storage unit. I've got stock coming in and out. I'm trying to find new routines. I've hired some help. So I'm doing some training, and like everything's just kind of escalated with my business in the last couple of months. Like my business has grown in the last couple of months so rapidly without me even realizing that all of a sudden it got to a point where I was like, boom, I need to expand. I need help. Like I can't physically grow anymore trying to do it all on my own. I'm at capacity. I'm working my butt off. I'm working long hours, and, you know, to move up to that next level. What was great for me was my talk with Chris from Daily Refinement. You know, I kind of reached out with him, and I talked about how I can kind of get up to that next level. And he gave me some great tips, which lit a fire in my belly. And I am going to have another chat with Chris soon with you guys, so you'll be able to see that, and we're going to talk about those things that I've implemented into my business now to take it to the next level. So I'll talk about more of those things in that video, so that will be good. I want silk or satin pants to be the in thing. Boxer shorts. Yeah, love talking fashion, and be sure to check it. Yeah, you do. You really do. It's not always just because it's a good brand doesn't mean it's always going to be a good buy or a good sale. And sometimes you need to leave those like good expensive brands there because they're really just not going to be a saleable thing. This chat is massive today. I've got quite a lot of people in this chat today, so I'm struggling to keep up. But if you do have another question there, you know, put that down. But ask me again now so I can see it. But yeah, guys, don't stress about it. Like, yeah, you don't have to do. You can be a bit of a rule breaker. I don't know. Like, I just feel like I break all these rules that people are so worried about doing. Like, oh, eBay wants us to do this. It's good for their algorithm. eBay will boost me more if I offer 1-day shipping. eBay will show my listings more, you know, if I offer free returns. Like, I think it's all baloney. Like my sales are booming. My sales are higher than they've ever been. Like my sales are doing great. I don't offer all these things. I'm like the rule breaker. And, the only things that I do is try and stay as consistent as possible. I consistently keep my policies the same. I don't chop and change them. Even I rarely run sales. So I've got a sale running on my store that I'm depleting because I don't want that store anymore. So I've got a sale running on that store. But on my main stores, I don't run sales. Generally, I find sometimes that if I run a sale, then I'm super quiet for at least a week after that sale. So for me, that's something that shows something with the algorithm. Like it's changing. Like it's like the algorithm has to get used to my business changing from that sale to no sale. And I don't know if you guys find that as well, but I definitely find that if I run a sale for a week after it, I'm super quiet before it picks back up again. And I just wonder if there's people out there who are chopping and changing with free shipping and return post and 1 day postage, and then like 2 weeks later they change it to 2 day postage again. And if you chop and change these things, it's going to take a while for your algorithm to flatline again. Do you give an offer to every person who watches an item of yours? Not every person. I do send offers out daily, but no, I don't send them to everyone. It depends what the item is, how long the item's been sitting in the store, how much profit there might be within that item, how quickly I want to get rid of it. I do send offers to most of them, but not all of them. And, sometimes I'll wait, but I do have a churn and burn model. So I am interested in moving the stock out fast. The quicker I can move it on, the better for me. Yeah. Don't get greedy on price. Ask yourself what you would pay for and what you're asking for it. Yeah, I think sometimes we can get hung up with what we think it's worth, or maybe sometimes you buy an item of clothing and it's already got the tag on it and it says it was like worth $120. And so you go, oh, wow, this item it was $120 new. I'm going to be able to sell that for $90. Not always. That could be dated stock, that could have been clearance stock. Like if it's got a $120 tag on it, you still might only get $40 for it. We have to be realistic with what things are worth, and something is only worth what somebody is willing to pay for it. It's, not always. We have to lose the mentality that, oh my gosh, somebody sent me this lowball offer. How dare they? But that might be all it's worth to somebody, because you might knock that offer back and then that item might sit there for 6 months because it's not worth it to anybody else. I think that's a bit of another myth. We can make it number 6, that, lowball offers, I think sometimes we get worried about people making a lowball offer that, that person's never going to buy from us. I think that's a bit of a myth as well. Sometimes you get a really lowball offer. If you counter offer to a price that you're actually quite happy with, a lot of the time they accept the offer. So, I think that's a bit of a myth that these lowballers come in as well, and, they're only there to get the low offers. I think sometimes they come in and they're a bit cheeky, but you'll be surprised how many of those lowballers can actually turn into a sale. Okay. I think I might end up finishing it up here. We've been going for an hour. I'm trying to keep my videos no longer than an hour because it can be hard to, watch back a long chat. Do you feel more productive not listing from the home space area? I found it amazing when I moved my business out of the house. Okay, Mr. Buys a Lot, I'm still listing from home. So you've got a much bigger warehouse than me. I can't afford like a massive, massive warehouse. But what I've done is I've moved all my listed stock over to the storage unit, and I've also moved my packing area to the storage unit. So now my garage at home is full of all the unlisted stock, and I've still got stock around my house that needs to get in there. I'm waiting for some more shelves, but the hardware shop has run out. So I'm waiting for some more shelves. But the idea is that all my listed stock is there. So my procedures have to change a little bit now. So on a Wednesday now, I'm going to focus on photographing for the whole week. So Wednesday is going to be an entire photography day for me now. And then what's going to happen is Thursday mornings, all the stock that I photographed will get taken over to the storage unit and put onto the shelves and itemized and put into tubs and all that kind of stuff and stored over there. So my procedures have to change a little bit. But I'm still working from home. I'm still doing my listing at home. My computer and everything is here, which is where my kids are. So it's still good for me to be here around the kids. But because everything is over there in the listed area, I only have to go in there 3 days a week and do my shipping. So I'm printing out the labels at home, taking the labels over, and then I'm printing it. And I'm finding that I'm actually doing it faster because I've got no distractions. You know, when I'm packing at home, I get distracted by going in or out the computer, and there's different things that distract me. When I go over to the warehouse, I'm not getting very good Wi-Fi over there as well. So I pretty much put the Spotify on and can just work. So I just head over there with my shipping labels, pick, pack, out, and I'm out the door. And then if I'm going to be photographing all day on a Wednesday and then taking 1 or 2 carloads of stock over to the shipping unit on a Thursday morning, realistically, I only have to be putting stock away once a week. So it's I've got to build these new systems, but, you know, this is going to work much better for me. You know, ideally it would be great to have everything out of the house in one big warehouse, but that's not going to happen for a while because, you know, one step at a time. And, you know, big warehouses like that are just so expensive here in my hometown that I just wouldn't be able to afford like a commercial space even big enough yet. I say yet because I'm very goal driven and I got plans. I'm upscaling, you know, one level at a time. One level at a time. So yeah, thanks PVP. Yes, space equals the peace of mind, but no matter how much space you get, you end up feeling it. Yep, I've noticed that. Oh, Jessie, thank you so much. $5, thank you. I'm currently doing great on Amazon, but want to start selling books on eBay. Do you check all the sold listings for your books or just YOLO? Yeah, I think books are one of those things that are a little bit hit and miss. You know, the majority of books, there's not a huge amount of profit in, and then there's other books where there's a bit of profit in them. But I think the thing with books is when you go to the store to look for books as well, like 95% of the books aren't even worth reselling. So it does take a while to kind of pick through the books for eBay. I think Amazon is very different for books, especially in America. In Australia, where we can't sell anything secondhand. So, you know, we don't really have the Amazon book market that they do in America. But yeah, I think books are a little bit different on eBay. But yeah, I definitely think you need to check the solds for books because sometimes you see a book listing for like a ridiculously high price. I don't know what some of these stores are thinking. And, you know, there isn't even any solds on those books. So, you know, yeah, I definitely think you definitely need to comp your books, and 95% of the books in a charity shop are going to be rubbish, absolute rubbish. You got to pick through and find the gems. So, you know, they're a little bit time consuming. Rhythms make a big difference in happy processing and running a business. I totally agree. Hello. So yeah, thank you for that, guys. I feel like I've had a really good chat today. I was really, you know, I was keen to talk about those 5 things because I do think people get a little bit hung up on them, and people do stress and they try and chop and change when things are down. And just because I had noticed that, you know, people are saying that their sales are down at the moment, and, you know, don't panic. You know, don't panic. I know it's hard to not panic if your sales are down, but try and think of it as a monthly basis and just try and stay as consistent as you possible. You know, I don't think because your sales are down, you need to chop and change policies and what you offer. Just go back through and look, you know, look at your titles and look at your photos and look at those things that you can change, but don't chop and change policies and procedures. I don't think that's 100% needed. Ambition and drive and passion like you have makes everything achievable. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, you have to have that drive and you have to have that hustle, don't you, to make things work. And I've certainly got it. I'm certainly driven. I've got my why and my purpose, and I like to make shit happen. So yeah, I'm willing to put in the hard yards. I'm willing to work hard. I'm definitely I do feel like I'm a hard worker. I'm hard. One of these days I'm going to hit the big time, I swear. Surely one of these days I've got to strike it rich or so. No, but something like that. Do you ever end up selling items at a loss just to clear the item? Yeah, look, there's some items, I don't know if I make a loss, but there's definitely some items that you don't make a lot of profit in. If you're just trying to move dead stock, there's no point holding on to it. If it's dead stock, you're better off to end it and donate it sometimes. Do you know what I mean? If it's dead stock, it's just dead in your store, it's doing nothing. So you either have to, it's like when you go to the supermarket, you'll see them clearance items, some items where they're not making any money on it. They've just got to get it out their door. So, and when you work on your numbers as a monthly total, not as an individual item. So say like the grocery store, their chocolate bar's about to go, out of date. They mark them down to 20 cents. They're probably not making any money on that particular chocolate bar, but they're still getting 20 cents going into their monthly total. And it all just adds up. So, it all just becomes more income. They either get 20 cents for it or they throw it in the bin once it's expired. And as resellers, we sometimes need to look at our stuff as well and go, you know what, that was a dud buy. I didn't do enough research on that item. I bought that when I wasn't as knowledgeable. The photos I took of that item, I'm so much better than that now. There's so many different factors. And sometimes you've just got to let things go. Yeah, so definitely, there's no point holding on to something that's stale or out of date or, not in fashion. Like, just move it on and think of it as a bad buy. Sometimes it is literally just a bad buy and we just have to accept that. Thank you. If you ever want to do a chat, Mr. Buys a Lot, I'd love to chat to you because, I do think you're a wealth of knowledge and, I'm happy to do a chat with you if you ever want to. Guys, thank you so much. This has been a great chat. I've really enjoyed it. I'm going to go and get a drink and nice cold can of Coke or something, I think. And, I really appreciate it. So if you've been in here, hit the like button, leave me a comment afterwards if you've liked the chat, and feel free to share my little video around on Instagram and help me grow my little channel. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.